Well, thanks so much for joining us. In this 3 or 4 minute little video, we're going to look at how Door Renew refinishes fiberglass doors. You know, a lot of people think that all we refinish are old wooden doors, and we certainly do our share of those, but we do a lot of fiberglass doors. And interestingly, most of the homes we work on are not that old. I mean, it's not uncommon for us to be working on doors that are only 4 or 5 years old, and certainly 15 to 20 years, we do a ton of those. So we do a lot of fiberglass and we do a lot of new doors. Well, let's jump right in and take a look at a project that we recently completed. In this case, we had double doors, and the frame also needed to be refinished. Now, these doors had been painted. The inside was still stained, it looked beautiful, and what the customer wanted was to have the outside stripped and then stained, not painted, so that they matched the inside. You can also see on those pictures on the right where some of that trim is separating and peeling away. And interestingly, the fiberglass, which is pretty much impervious to deterioration, that was in fine shape. But the trim around the windows is often a vinyl or a plastic. And over the course of years and through repeated exposure to heat and cold, expansion, contraction, that vinyl or plastic trim can separate and peel away as you see here. You know, one other aside, um, people often buy a fiberglass door because they were told it was maintenance free. Well, you know, the door itself isn't going to rot, it's not going to warp, it's not going to need much attention, but the finish on top of that door is still subject to, the weather, the elements, the sun, and its maintenance cycle is going to be just about the same as that of a wood door. So if you have a fiberglass door and you want it to look a little better, well, consider having it restored by Door Renew. So anyways, that was the situation we were facing, and let's take a look now at how we went about solving these challenges for the customer. The frame was the first thing we needed to tackle, and it is a wood frame. The doors are fiberglass, but in almost all cases the frame is wood. And so what we did is we did that first, and we do that on site. We need to get the frame done first because we wouldn't want to do the doors, put newly finished doors in place, and then be applying stripper to the frame, getting it on the doors, and you can see what problems that would create. So we do the frames first. And in all of our restorations, we strip things down to the bare substrate, remove all of the previous coatings. In this case, we're stripped it down to the bare wood, which was the substrate. And in this case, you can see it has been stripped, it's been sanded, and it's ready for staining. So then what we did after this was stain it. Then we apply multiple coats of a very high grade varnish that contains very high levels of UV inhibitors. And this protects that finish from the sun and elements for years to come. And so now once this is done, we bring the doors into the shop. So we have those doors now in our shop. We can work on them while they're lying flat and in a controlled environment. And the first thing we did was fix that peeling trim. So you can see the picture on the left, a variety of different types of clamps holding down that trim. We used a very strong two-part adhesive to reattach that, and we don't want that peeling up next year. Once the glue set up, we pulled the clamps, and then we applied a two-part filler in those gaps in areas where it needed repair. Once the filler set up, we then sanded it so that we could match the contour of the patch to the surrounding trim. And then once that was all done, we were then able to start working on the doors themselves. And so we stripped them, removed all of that finish, and you can see that picture on the right. We're down to the bare substrate, which in this case is fiberglass. And then once the fiberglass was cleaned, we used a special cleaning agent to etch that to remove any residual oils or debris. Then we stained it. Then we applied, again, those multiple coats of varnish and then a top coat. And then we took the doors back. And you can see here the doors that have been renewed. Now with fiberglass, it's very common that we have to apply multiple coats of stain, usually with wood, one coat because the stain seeps into the wood. But with fiberglass, it's a different process, and so it's not uncommon to do 2, 3, some occasionally even 4 coats. This door took 3, and we were thrilled with how closely we were able to match the inside of the doors, and the customer was thrilled as well. So once we had all that work done in the shop, we brought the doors back, installed them, put the hardware back on, and you can see the finished product there. So if your door needs to be touched up, if you'd like it to pop, we'd sure love to refinish your door, so please look us up online. You can see the website there, and we'd be more than happy to provide you with a free estimate. Thanks so much. Have a great day.